For over 10,000 years of cultivation, humanity has transformed 5 billion hectares of land into a vast ecosystem that sustains life on this planet. From fertile plains to the harshest terrains, agriculture has always stood as a testament to our limitless creativity and ability to adapt. And today, as advanced technology and modern machinery revolutionize the fields, each harvest is no longer just a season of reaping. It is a revolution where human intelligence merges with mechanical power to overcome market challenges, foster sustainable life, and enhance the quality of living across the globe. The pomegranate harvest season usually begins in September, when the fruits ripen into glossy crimson jewels hanging from the branches. In renowned growing regions like India and Afghanistan, each tree can yield up to 200 fruits, with an average output of over 25 tons per hectare. Harvesting is done entirely by hand to avoid cracking the delicate skin or bruising the seeds. Workers use sharp pruning shears, cutting only the stem, never twisting or pulling to keep the fruit fresh and beautiful. Ripeness is determined mainly by the color of the rind and the sound it makes when tapped. A perfectly ripe pomegranate shows a deep red hue with a slight golden tint near the stem, a smooth surface, and subtle ridge lines. When tapped lightly, it produces a low, resonant tone with a soft echo, while unripe ones sound dull and flat. Experienced pickers can tell the difference after just a few taps, an instinct honed through years of practice, where the human ear and hand become the most precise ripeness sensors technology has yet to replicate. Fruits that pass inspection are carefully placed into baskets lined with soft fibers, then quickly moved to shaded areas to prevent cracking from heat shock. Finally, they are washed, graded, and packed for export, most destined for Europe, where over 300,000 tons are consumed each year. Across the endless orange groves of Florida, the state that produces over 70% of America's oranges, this integrated self-propelled harvester doesn't replace human labor entirely, but it drastically reduces the need for seasonal workers. Its shaking mechanism is precisely calibrated to match the resonant frequency of the tree trunk, strong enough to detach the fruit without damaging the branches or bruising the peel. Two hydraulic arms clamp onto the trunk, vibrating nearly 500 times per minute, and within seconds, hundreds of oranges drop onto the conveyor belt below. An onboard accelerometer adjusts the shaking intensity in real time based on the trunk's size and moisture level. Just behind, a vacuum conveyor system collects the fallen oranges immediately, using low-pressure air tubes to slow their fall and minimize bruising, keeping the fruit fresh for industrial processing. To achieve such massive efficiency, each grove must invest hundreds of thousands of dollars per machine. Yet this is an inevitable evolution in industrial orange harvesting, especially in Florida, where over 90% of the crop is destined for juice production, a market that values volume and consistency over flawless appearance. Across the sunlit chicory fields of northern France, the grim beet harvester moves steadily forward, marking the start of the root harvest season. At the front, a set of counter-rotating steel discs slices cleanly through the thick green foliage, exposing the base of each plant. Immediately behind, the dual V-shaped lifting system closes gently around the stems, pulling the entire root from the soil in one smooth, fluid motion. The lifted chicory is carried along a spiral conveyor and vibrating mesh, which shake off the clinging soil before dropping the roots neatly into the rear holding tank. Under the bright autumn sun, the machine glides across the field with rhythmic precision, leaving behind soft, even furrows that stretch straight and perfect to the horizon. After harvesting, the chicory roots are transported to specialized indoor endive growing facilities, where every condition, from light and humidity to temperature, is carefully controlled. There, the roots are placed upright in hydroponic trays, with their tips facing upward and roots downward, nourished by a nutrient-rich solution maintained at around 18 degrees Celsius in total darkness. This absence of light prevents chlorophyll formation, giving endive its signature ivory white color. After about 1 month, when the endive buds grow to around 20 centimeters, the harvest begins. Workers gently lift the chicory roots from the hydroponic trays and place them into a root-cutting machine. The machine automatically holds the base in place and slices off the roots cleanly, leaving only the tender ivory buds. Once separated, workers inspect each head by hand, ensuring no bruised leaves or broken ticks. The finest endives, tight, smooth, and pale with a slight yellow tint, are then arranged carefully into trays and moved to cooling rooms at 2 to 3 degrees Celsius to maintain crispness and freshness. Each processing line can handle thousands of endives per hour, combining mechanical precision with human craftsmanship, completing the transformation from raw chicory roots into one of Europe's most delicate and refined vegetables. For shiitake mushroom growers, the harvesting stage is the critical final step, where up to 70% of the product's market value is determined by the integrity of the mushroom cap. Even today, the process remains entirely manual. Harvesters grip the stem firmly and twist it gently in the opposite direction of its growth, applying just enough force for the whole stem to detach from the substrate without tearing the flesh or cracking the cap. A premium shiitake must have a rounded, dry cap and a firm stem, standards that ensure not only commercial quality, but also preserve freshness and the deep umami flavor, which concentrates mainly in the cap. After picking, the substrate blocks are kept moist and reused after about 14 days, each yielding 3 to 4 harvest cycles before nutrients are depleted. An average farm in South Korea can earn around $150,000 annually, a profit margin high enough to drive continued investment and expansion toward export markets. Yet, despite technological progress, human hands remain irreplaceable in this delicate chain, transforming discarded oak sawdust into one of the world's most prized mushrooms, renowned for its thick caps, rich aroma, and unmatched umami depth. Modern corn harvesters typically operate in 2 main stages, engineered to handle massive volumes while preserving grain quality. The first stage begins with the corn header, where rows of counter-rotating blades glide just above the ground, cutting the stalks and feeding each corn plant into the processing unit. Immediately, roller strippers grip the stems, cleanly removing the ears while the stalks, leaves, and husks are shredded and returned to the field as natural fertilizer, leaving behind only bare stalks and loosened, aerated soil. Next, the combine corn harvester, the all-in-one powerhouse, takes over. The ears are fed into a centrifugal threshing system, where high-speed rotating teeth strip kernels from the cobs in seconds. Instead of relying solely on vibrating sieves, many modern machines now use a cyclone airflow system that blows away husks, cobs, and debris, producing kernels that are up to 98% clean, requiring almost no further screening. The golden grains are then conveyed into a large rear hopper, ready to be unloaded directly into waiting trucks. With its blend of mechanical precision and aerodynamic innovation, this streamlined process represents one of the most impressive feats of agricultural engineering in the 21st century. In the world of agriculture, there is one remarkable plant, often called the fastest growing crop on Earth. It takes only a few days from seed to harvest: bean sprouts. Just 5 days after mung beans are soaked and kept in a humid, dark environment, the white, tender shoots begin to sprout all at once, forming dense layers that seem to grow almost overnight. The harvesting process begins when the sprouts reach the ideal height. Growers simply pour the entire tray of cultivated sprouts into a large water basin, where an automated washing line takes over. A circulating water system gently separates the bean husks and fine roots, while the cool water flow keeps the sprouts white, crisp, and unbroken. Once cleaned, the sprouts move onto a draining conveyor belt, which removes excess moisture before transferring them directly to the packaging area. There, workers perform a quick quality check and seal the packages immediately, without any intermediate steps. The entire cycle, from seeding to packaging, takes less than a week, making bean sprouts one of the most efficient and naturally rapid foods humans have ever cultivated. In Japan, sea grape farms are often found along the bays and shallow coastal waters around Okinawa, where the seawater is crystal clear and the temperature stays steady at around 25 degrees Celsius. The sea grapes are fixed onto polymer nets or elastic ropes stretched just below the surface, allowing them to anchor firmly, grow evenly, and be harvested multiple times without replanting. After about a month, when the strands have thickened and the tiny green grapes are plump and round, farmers either dive down or use small boats to pull each cultivation net up to shore. They work slowly, so the water can drain and the delicate clusters aren't damaged. The nets are set at an angle to dry briefly before being moved straight to the processing area. Everything must be done quickly, as sea grapes retain their freshness and crisp texture for only a few hours after harvest. When sea grapes were introduced to Southeast Asia, they were cultivated using unique and locally adapted methods that reflect the region's creativity and resourcefulness. Here, most small-scale farmers use the bottom planting method, spreading sea grape seedlings across shallow seawater ponds, only 40 to 60 centimeters deep. After about 1 to 2 months, the clusters reach their ideal harvest size. Because they cannot step directly on the delicate plants, farmers push off from the pond's edge and lie face down on floating rafts made of foam or composite plastic, wrapped in nylon mesh, distributing their weight evenly and allowing them to move smoothly across the surface. Wearing single-lens diving goggles with magnification, they can clearly see each branch beneath the water and hold their breath just long enough to work quickly. During harvest, they wear fabric gloves with just the right texture to twist the stems gently, detaching each cluster without bursting the fragile green pearls. Also known as green caviar, sea grapes have a light, briny taste with a hint of natural sweetness. When eaten, each tiny bead pops crisply in the mouth, offering a refreshing burst of ocean flavor. Though still unfamiliar to many Americans, sea grapes are a beloved food in Japan and across Asia. Valued as a health treasure from the sea, rich in minerals, omega-3s, and antioxidants that purify the body and nourish the skin. You may know that salt is usually produced in hot, dry climates, but there's one exceptional kind that forms in the Arctic cold, when nothing seems like it could crystallize at all. In Iceland, salt isn't harvested from sun-scorched coastal flats like in the tropics, but from seawater vapor rising amid the frigid 5 to 10 degrees Celsius air and North Atlantic winds. The process begins when pristine seawater from Breidafjörður Bay is pumped into evaporation systems powered by geothermal energy, immense natural heat drawn from deep within the earth. Under this steady warmth, the water gradually evaporates, leaving behind fine white salt crystals, rich in over 80 trace minerals. Once the perfect crystal form appears, the salt is hand-skimmed using wooden tools, then dried slowly in enclosed rooms to preserve its natural flake structure. Each grade of Icelandic salt is a meeting of sea, fire, and ice, crisp, delicate, and remarkably pure. It's more than just a seasoning. It's a work of Arctic nature, crystallized from raw elemental energy and the careful hands of its makers. Each year, global bell pepper production exceeds 38 million tons, with China, Mexico, Turkey, and the United States being the largest producers. As one of the most delicate vegetables in the world, hand harvesting remains the dominant method in many traditional growing regions. Farmers pick each ripe pepper by hand, cutting the stem with scissors or small knives to avoid tearing the skin or breaking the branches. Standard quality peppers are typically red, yellow, or deep green, with smooth, glossy, unblemished surfaces. However, at large-scale farms in Spain, the United States, and the Netherlands, mechanical harvesting technology is being increasingly adopted. Bell pepper harvesters use soft conveyors and vibrating mechanisms to detach the fruit, helping reduce manual labor and double productivity compared to hand picking. Color and size sensors are integrated directly into the harvesting line, allowing preliminary sorting to take place immediately in the field. A further advancement is robotic harvesting in automated greenhouses, currently being tested in Japan and the Netherlands. Robotic arms equipped with AI cameras and 3D sensors can detect the color, ripeness, and position of each pepper, then cut and gently place it into collection trays. Economically, the global bell pepper production and trade industry is valued at more than $60 billion annually. In fact, demand for bell peppers continues to grow steadily by 3 to 4% each year, driven by healthy eating trends and the need for year-round vegetable supply in temperate countries. Papayas are generally harvested year-round, with peak seasons falling between March and September, depending on the region. The ideal time to harvest is when the skin begins to turn from green to pale yellow, the surface appears glossy, and the fruit releases a subtle fragrance. Harvesters use small knives or gently twist the stem by hand to detach the fruit, placing it carefully into padded baskets to avoid scratches or bruising. For a fruit that ripens quickly and bruises easily like papaya, gentle handling and same-day transport are crucial to maintaining export quality. Thanks to its high yield and continuous harvesting cycle, papaya generates billions of dollars in economic value annually, not only as a fresh fruit, but also through processed products such as juice, jam, and papain enzyme, a key ingredient in the global food and pharmaceutical industries. Indonesia is currently the world's largest pineapple producer, with an annual output of about 3.2 million tons. The main growing regions are Lampung and South Sumatra, where the humid tropical climate and fertile red basaltic soil provide ideal conditions for pineapple cultivation. During harvest season, farmers skillfully cut the fruit close to the base with sharp knives, leaving a short stem to minimize moisture loss. Manual harvesting allows farmers to select fruit at perfect ripeness, preserving the golden hue and preventing bruised eyes, a crucial factor for whole fruit export standards. Properly harvested pineapples retain their sweetness, crisp texture, and signature aroma throughout long-distance transport, reinforcing Indonesia's position as one of the world's leading pineapple exporters. Indonesia's pineapple industry is not only massive in scale, but also vital to the national economy. Export revenues from fresh and processed pineapples exceed $2 billion each year, fueled by strong demand from the European Union, Japan, China, and the United States. Canned pineapples and juice account for a significant share of export value, driven by the global appetite for tropical products. They say the world is divided into two teams, those who love pineapple on pizza and those who would never allow it near a slice. So which side are you on? From the Yunnan valleys of China to the fertile plains of central Chile and across Eastern Europe, millions of plum trees are heavy with ripening fruit. In 2025 alone, global plum production is projected to exceed 12 million tons, serving both domestic markets and international demand for fresh and dried plums. Between June and August each year is the most suitable time for harvesting, when the fruit reaches optimal ripeness and its highest sugar content. Farmers usually harvest early in the morning to preserve freshness, picking by hand or using specialized tools to minimize scratches and bruising. China currently dominates the global plum market, with an output of about 6.75 million tons, accounting for more than 54% of the world's total production. Premium varieties such as Black Amber and Friar are in high demand in Japan, South Korea, and European countries, selling at retail prices 2 to 3 times higher than domestic plums, ranging from USD 2,000 to 3,500 per ton, depending on the season and quality. Each year, global banana production exceeds 125 million tons, 5 times that of peaches and 10 times that of plums, making bananas the most consumed fruit on the planet. India, China, the Philippines, Brazil, and Ecuador are the largest producers, with India leading at more than 35 million tons per year, mainly for domestic consumption. In traditional growing regions such as Tamil Nadu and Maharashtra or Los Rios, banana harvesting is still done manually. The work is usually carried out by 2 people. One uses a sharp knife to cut the bunch at the base, while the other supports it from below to prevent bruising. Each bunch can weigh 25 to 30 kilograms, trimmed, sorted on site, and then transported to the processing station. At large-scale farms in Latin America and Southeast Asia, overhead conveyor systems, cable transport, and automated post-harvest handling technologies are widely applied, helping to reduce labor costs and mechanical losses. According to the FAO, more than 400 million people around the world currently depend directly on bananas as a source of income or staple food, turning this humble fruit into a vital livelihood link for hundreds of millions of farming families globally. Instead of being discarded as before, most of this biomass is now efficiently reused in a circular agricultural system. Today, thanks to mechanization, banana stem shredders can process tons of material per hour, turning it into green manure or bioorganic fertilizer, helping to improve soil structure and reduce up to 30% of chemical fertilizer use for the next crop. In India and the Philippines, banana fiber recycling projects have helped reduce more than 200,000 tons of agricultural waste each year, while contributing to carbon emission reduction and promoting sustainable farming models worldwide. Because spraying pesticides by hand takes too much time, we now continue our journey with a high-capacity mist sprayer used in large-scale agriculture. Suitable for many types of crops such as rice, corn, and fruit trees. This device uses a high-pressure jet fan system to disperse pesticide or foliar fertilizer solutions at a flow rate of up to 375 liters per minute, spraying up to 300 meters in just a few minutes. This type of machine is now widely used in large-scale farming areas in South Korea, Japan, Latin America, and Southeast Asia. How do you view this approach to modern agriculture? The watermelon harvest season usually lasts from May to September in the Northern Hemisphere, while in the Southern Hemisphere, in countries such as Brazil and Argentina, it falls between November and March, ensuring that this fruit is available almost year-round on the global market. Harvesting watermelons is a delicate balance of strength and precision. Unlike grains or corn, these fruits, often weighing up to 1,000 times more than a strawberry, are far too fragile to be harvested entirely by machines. Most are still picked by hand. Farmers walk row by row, tapping the melons and listening for the hollow sound that signals ripeness. Once a fruit is chosen, they cut the stem with a small knife and gently set the melon down to avoid cracking its thick yet brittle rind. It is a task that demands coordination. If a worker becomes careless or impatient, the heavy fruit can easily be damaged or shattered. Timing is also critical. Watermelons must be harvested early in the morning when temperatures are cooler, preserving their firmness and sweetness. Every year, more than 100 million tons of watermelons are harvested worldwide, with China alone contributing nearly 60% of the supply. For thousands of years, the olive tree has stood as a symbol of peace and prosperity across the Mediterranean. By 2025, global olive production is expected to exceed 23 million tons, harvested from September's green fruit to January's black oil-rich olives. Among them, Spain continues to dominate with more than 8 million tons each year, far surpassing Italy and Greece, thanks to the millions of hectares of olive groves in Andalusia and the region's early adoption of advanced mechanization. To meet this massive demand, traditional hand-picking methods have been replaced by modern harvesting machines. One of the most impressive is the Pellenc Expand R5090, a true technological beast. Its massive yellow catching frame extends up to 10 meters, wrapping around the base of the tree. A powerful hydraulic shaker then vibrates the trunk and branches, sending ripe olives cascading down like rain. The fruits are immediately carried onto conveyors that strip away leaves, remove debris, and transfer clean olives directly into storage bins. With a capacity of 4 to 5 tons per day, this machine replaces the work of dozens of laborers, making it especially effective in large-scale groves across Andalusia, Tuscany, and Crete. However, the next leap forward comes with self-propelled olive harvesters like the New Holland Broad series, designed specifically for super high-density orchards. Instead of shaking each individual trunk, these machines drive directly through densely planted rows, using dual shakers and conveyors on both sides to gently strip away 15 to 20 tons of fruit per day from the canopy. In terms of yield, a modern hectare of olive trees can produce 3 to 5 tons of fruit, equivalent to around 600 to 800 liters of extra virgin olive oil, depending on the variety and growing conditions. From there, millions of tons of olives are transformed into extra virgin oil, cosmetics, soaps, and even biofuels, fueling an industry worth more than $15 billion annually. Truly, olives remain the liquid gold of the Mediterranean. Delicate and easily bruised zucchini, also known as courgette, is one of the most fragile vegetables to harvest, yet it is considered among the easiest crops to grow in the world. Within just 45 to 60 days after sowing, the plants begin to produce fruit, and throughout the season, Farmers must harvest almost daily to keep each zucchini tender, crisp, and at its highest market value. Farmers use small knives to gently cut the stems, taking care not to damage the thin, sensitive skin. Left on the plant for just 1 or 2 extra days, the fruit can grow 3 to 5 centimeters longer, becoming oversized and losing commercial value. Today, the United States, Italy, Spain, and Mexico are among the world's largest zucchini producers. The United States alone harvests over 400,000 tons annually, while the European Union produces more than 1.1 million tons in total. Thanks to its rapid growth, continuous yield, and strong consumer demand, zucchini has become one of the 10 most widely cultivated vegetables worldwide. Today, more than 90 million beehives worldwide produce around 1.8 million tons of honey each year, supplying markets from Asia to Europe and North America. From May to September, the peak harvest season takes place across the Northern Hemisphere, when beekeepers carefully lift heavy honeycombs from their hives to collect nature's liquid gold. Smoke from a traditional bee smoker is used to calm the colonies and reduce the risk of stings. Each frame is then gently removed, often covered with thousands of bees. On average, a single frame can hold 2 to 4 kilograms of honey. The beekeeper must work quickly and precisely, brushing the bees away before placing the frames into sealed transport boxes. Globally, beekeeping is thriving. China leads the industry, producing over 450,000 tons, nearly 25% of the world's honey supply. The United States, Turkey, Argentina, and India also rank among the top producers. In Europe alone, more than 600,000 people are involved in apiculture, not only for honey, but also because of bees' crucial role in crop pollination. Once harvested, the honeycombs are delivered to processing facilities. There, the thin wax cappings are sliced off by hand knives or automatic uncapping machines. The frames are then placed into centrifugal extractors, high-speed spinners that force the honey out of the combs and into collection tanks. On the international market, the honey industry is valued at more than 10 billion USD annually, serving not only food but also pharmaceutical and cosmetic industries. Every drop of honey that reaches consumers represents a journey that is both artisanal and industrial, distilled from the tireless labor of millions of bees. Across the vast fields of Europe and North America, green peas, small, crisp, and sweet, demand a harvesting process timed down to the very hour, as more than 20 million tons must be gathered for the 2025 season. Specialized harvesters like the Oxbow series, equipped with cutting blades, conveyors, and separating fans, can collect up to 8–10 tons of peas per hour. The process runs seamlessly. At the front, blades slice close to the ground, pulling entire plants into the machine. Inside, beaters and airflow separate the peas from their pods, leaving only the vibrant green kernels. On average, each hectare yields 5 to 7 tons of fresh peas, and the harvest window lasts only 2 to 3 short weeks in summer. On the market, these peas are widely used as ingredients for soups, pasta dishes, salads, and stews, as well as in the form of frozen peas and canned peas destined for export. Cassava, also known as manioc or tapioca, is the world's third most important food crop, after rice and maize, feeding more than 800 million people every day. After about 8 to 12 months of growth, when the leaves begin to turn yellow, cassava roots are ready for harvest. In many regions, farmers still use hoes or their bare hands to pull up each plant, lifting entire clusters of long tubers from the soil. However, on large-scale farms, tractors and hydraulic lifters are used to uproot whole plants, shake off the soil, and gather them into piles. Immediately after harvesting, cassava must be processed quickly, as its starch content deteriorates rapidly. Most roots are sliced, sun-dried, or mechanically dried to produce tapioca starch, a key ingredient in the food, beverage, confectionery, and ethanol industries. Today, global cassava production exceeds 300 million tons annually, with Nigeria, Thailand, Indonesia, Brazil, and Vietnam among the leading producers, shaping an agricultural industry worth tens of billions of dollars worldwide. Over 2.5 million hectares of green cabbage across the world are entering the peak harvest season, covering vast fields from Europe to Asia. Each year, global production exceeds 70 million tons of cabbage, with China, India, Russia, and Germany leading the way, and accounting for more than 2/3 of the world's total output. Across fields spanning dozens of hectares, modern cabbage harvesters such as Assay Lift and Salmon begin their work. At the front, hydraulic blades slice close to the ground, neatly cutting each cabbage head from its stem. A tilted conveyor lifts the cabbages onto a sorting table, where workers quickly trim outer leaves, cut stems, and load them into crates or trailers. Each machine can harvest 15 to 20 tons of cabbage per hour, dozens of times faster than manual labor. At the processing facilities, cabbages are washed, graded, and shredded for food production lines. A portion is naturally fermented into sauerkraut, the signature pickled cabbage of Germany, Poland, and much of Europe. This year, global cabbage consumption is projected to reach 74.9 million tons, a slight increase from 70 million tons in 2023, continuing the steady growth trend of recent years.
Oh no!
The storms of 2025 strike unpredictably, almost impossible to forecast. Leaves droop, many plants lean to one side, and millions of tons of crops lie buried in the mud, yet farmers still rush into the fields. For them, waiting for the sun is not an option. Just one more day of flooding could turn an entire year's work into decay right there in the fields. Under the heavy rain, each farmer bends low, hands scraped and muddy, searching for the fruits still intact. Harvesting in the storm has become a familiar scene in many parts of the world, from Florida and Louisiana in the United States to Bangladesh, the Philippines, and central Vietnam, where weather has grown increasingly erratic due to global climate change. According to the Food and Agriculture Organization, the frequency of extreme rainfall events during harvest seasons has increased by more than 40% over the past decade, causing estimated losses of over 123 billion USDs annually to global agriculture. Farewell to the diligent farmers across the fields of Illinois. Now let us journey to Wisconsin and Massachusetts, where every September, farmers harvest their rewards, glistening like crimson jewels upon the water. Unlike pumpkins, cranberries are harvested using a unique method known as wet harvesting. When the season arrives, farmers flood the bogs with water, then deploy special machines called water reels or egg beaters to stir the vines and loosen the berries. Thanks to tiny air pockets inside, cranberries rise and float, creating a spectacular sight. thousands of bright red berries drifting like a floating carpet across the water's surface. Next comes the conveyor harvester, a modern harvesting machine that drives directly through the flooded bog. At the front, steel tines sweep the floating berries into the intake, while rotating conveyors lift them up, drain the water, and deposit them straight into boats or bins along the bog's edge. This method accelerates collection, reduces the need for manual boom corralling, and minimizes damage, making it ideal for large-scale cranberry farms in the US and Canada. Much like the bison roaming the Great Plains, the sight of flooded bogs shimmering with cranberries has become an enduring symbol of North America, a living image that captures both its natural abundance and cultural identity. Another approach that is becoming increasingly widespread is the conveyor harvester, which demands an investment of $250,000 to $400,000, but delivers far greater efficiency. At the front, steel tines sweep the floating berries toward the intake, where rotating conveyors lift them up, drain away the excess water, and deposit them directly into waiting boats or bins along the bog's edge. Each year, harvesting 700,000 tons of cranberries can require millions of liters of water, but Ocean Spray, the largest farmer-owned cooperative in the United States, emphasizes that much of this water is reused throughout the season, while accounting for nearly 70% of the nation's production. Billions of potato seeds are planted in the early spring of the Northern Hemisphere and the autumn of the Southern Hemisphere, marking the beginning of one of the most important crop seasons in global agriculture. Across vast fields, modern potato planters such as the Lockwood 608, Grimm GL 420, and John Deere 1725 operate tirelessly, capable of planting more than 12 rows at once, covering 10 to 15 hectares per day. Each seed potato is placed precisely into the soil by conveyor systems and GPS sensors, ensuring uniform spacing and optimal growth conditions. Thanks to this high level of mechanization, global potato production now exceeds 370 million tons annually, making this humble tuber the fourth most important food crop in the world, after rice, corn, and wheat. Across the arid highlands of Mexico, Sicily, North Africa, and the southern United States, the cactus harvest begins from June to October, a cultural symphony deeply rooted in local tradition. Mexico remains the world's largest producer, accounting for over 45% of global cactus output, with more than 70,000 hectares under cultivation and an annual yield of around 800,000 tons. In the Milpa Alta region of Mexico City alone, over 300 tons of cactus pads are harvested daily, supplying both domestic markets and exports to the United States, Europe, and Japan. Farmers still harvest by hand using thin steel knives or small shovels, usually in the early morning when the spines are soft. In some regions, mechanical cutters are introduced to speed up the process, slicing through the pads and gently lifting them onto conveyors for collection. The young pads are then cleaned, de-spined, and carefully packed for the fresh market, where they are served as salads, soups, or stir-fried dishes, or ground into feed for livestock in arid regions where other forage crops are scarce. Meanwhile, cactus fruits are harvested either by hand or with specialized mechanical grabbers, with each plant producing between 150 and 200 fruits per season. The fruit is known for its refreshing sweetness and vibrant colors, from red and purple to golden yellow, carrying deep cultural significance across Latin America and the Mediterranean. In Mexico, the retail price ranges from 0.6 to 0.9 USD per kilogram, while export-grade fruits can sell for up to 10 times higher. Mexicans often proudly say, "Más mexicano que el nopal," more Mexican than the cactus, a phrase that reflects the spirit of resilience, identity, and national pride deeply rooted in their land. Beyond its cultural and economic value, the cactus also stands as a symbol of sustainable agriculture. It uses up to 80% less water than conventional crops and has helped restore more than 1.5 million hectares of desertified land in Mexico, Morocco, and Ethiopia, earning its title as the crop of the future in an increasingly harsh climate. As autumn spreads, alongside the bustling pumpkin harvest for the festive season, fields from North America to Europe glow with the vibrant colors of ripening squash. Modern harvesters, equipped with cutting blades, vibrating shafts, and integrated conveyor systems, work seamlessly to lift vines, separate the fruits, and load them into containers at speeds of over 10 tons per hour. Each year, nearly 28 million tons of squash are harvested to meet the rising global demand for fresh produce, soups, vegetarian meals, and frozen foods, a testament to this golden vegetable crop, one of the most widely cultivated and consumed short-season vegetables in the world. Amid the golden waves of ripened barley, the harvest season unfolds with both grandeur and danger. Farmers face not only volatile prices and market pressure, but also the harsh power of nature, where a single gust of hot wind or a tiny spark can turn vast fields into flames. A single major fire can cut yields by 15 to 20%, causing tens of millions of dollars in losses. Therefore, they must fight back, using tractors to plow fire breaks and spraying water to prevent the flames from spreading. That is how quick-witted farmers save their crops. Even as smoke fills the sky and fire blazes across the horizon, the harvest must go on, because every minute lost means tons of barley reduced to ash. Many of these fires are triggered by overheated combine harvesters, where dry straw and dust accumulate near the exhaust or bearings, igniting instantly under extreme heat. This dramatic scene often unfolds across major barley-growing regions, such as Kansas, Alberta, and Ukraine, where humans and nature continue their fierce struggle for every season's yield. Each year, the world produces over 150 million tons of barley, most of it used for beer, animal feed, and malt production. At the same time, thousands of hectares of barley fields are burned, releasing hundreds of thousands of tons of CO2 into the atmosphere and stripping away the fertile topsoil built up over decades.
So far.
Famous as one of the most delicate and easily damaged vegetables, harvesting celery requires precision, care, and speed in every movement. Across lush green fields stretching from California in the United States to the Murcia region of Spain and the Flevoland plains of the Netherlands, the harvest season begins in October and lasts until early spring. On smaller farms, workers still harvest by hand, using sharp knives to cut each stalk close to the ground, gently bundling and placing them into boxes to avoid bruising. Skilled pickers can harvest between 1 and 2 tons per day, showcasing the craftsmanship of traditional vegetable farming. In contrast, large-scale farms rely on modern mechanical harvesters equipped with cutting blades and automated conveyors that lift, trim, and load celery into containers at speeds exceeding 15 tons per hour. Today, the United States stands as the world's largest producer of celery, yielding over 900,000 tons annually, with California alone accounting for more than 80% of the national output. European countries, such as Spain, the Netherlands, and Italy, also serve as major production hubs supplying the EU market. On the consumer side, China and the United States are the world's top celery consumers, each averaging more than 2 kilograms per person per year, a clear reflection of the global appeal of this crisp, refreshing, and nutrient-rich vegetable.